The third commandment says, "Observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy as the Lord your God commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath day to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male or your female servant, your ox, your donkey, any of your livestock, the sojourner who is within your gates, that they may all rest as well as you. You will remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God brought you out from there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God commanded you to keep the Sabbath day." And what I want to bring in is in the New Testament. I forget which gospel it's in. Which gospels it's in. I'm really good with, side note, I'm really good with remembering Bible stories. I'm not good with citations. So, I guess that's a weakness, but also I Google, like, I'll type the story or the verse I remember into Google. Google tells me where it is and we're good to go. Because I do remember the story, I remember the verse, just can't necessarily tell you the citation. Side note, tangent, my apologies. Where the disciples are gleaning heads of grain, and the Pharisees, the teachers of the law, are like, they can't do that, it's the Sabbath. And Jesus says, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath. And I think I might be mixing two stories. And so Christ calls himself Lord of the Sabbath, and then he says, Sabbath is made for man, not man for the Sabbath. And this commandment is God recognizing that we need rest. We need time to recharge, and we need time for spiritual rest. And I think that's the key, because some people will say, well, I'm taking my Sabbath, so I'm sleeping in, I'm not going to church this morning, I'm taking the day off, I'm not doing anything. And that's not what it's talking about at all. That's a misuse of the Sabbath rest. Because Sabbath rest is a time to get spiritually reconnected, to come into God's house and worship and learn and to receive his gifts in communion, in confession and absolution, in time spent with other Christians in that community. And yes, there is time for physical rest, for leisure. That is an additional part of the Sabbath, but it's a time for spiritual rest for us. And this is a commandment that God gives us because he knows that we have a tendency to just go and go and go and go. So he says, no, you need rest. I designed you this way. Take it. And that's why he sets the example. When he's creating the world, he takes the seventh day and he rests. And he sets an example for us. He says, this is how I designed things to be. You rest. So that's what I have on the Sabbath day. The third commandment, take a day a week, take that spiritual rest, that spiritual recharge, and also rest. Take time, breathe, be with family, spend some time in Word, spend some time in prayer, spend some time in Christian community. And with that, brothers and sisters, go in peace and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.